So you may have guessed when we invited you to the Taft Museum that we may be doing something different in 2025. And I can't help but look at Mchugh, who said to me when I took on the role that, when are you going to do something big for CISE and think differently? So hopefully by the end of the night, you'll say, finally, Mchugh's thinking big and doing something for CISE. So I would like to share with you our 2025 annual fund and capital campaign. So as all of you know, we're now in our 5th decade of empowering inner city children with a Catholic values-based education. During this time, we have supported over 21,000 children. Now let me just clarify this, because many of you have said, you've touched more children than 21,000. If we had a CISE child attend school from pre-K through 8th and then on to high school, that would be 14 years of education, but it's still only one student. So the years we've supported them would be a multiple of the number of 21,000. And this year, as mentioned earlier, we have a record number of students, 2,600 in our elementary schools and over 550 in our local high schools, which have been such a great supporter of ours. So this year, 2025, we decided to embark on a capital campaign. Many of you have been leaders of our annual fund, and certainly that has been successful. But we decided this year that we needed to have the resources available to meet the growing needs of our educators as well as our students. And this capital campaign is chaired by many of you who are here tonight. Your common experience was serving as the chair of one of our successful annual funds. We're grateful for your leadership as well as your generosity. And I will tell you, I've had a very blessed life, but nothing gave me more satisfaction than when I heard from these individuals to say, yes, I will be part of it. And to see many of you here tonight, the Stoutberg family, Harry and Linda Pfaff, the Torbecks, Susan too, prayers to John, my dear friend, Wick, everyone, Don, Tom, we are all standing on your shoulders. And CISE is today because of the leadership that you've provided. It is a tremendous history, and we're cognizant of that every day. At CISE, we're committed to all students, regardless of their beliefs. Our CISE-supported schools empower students to reach their God-given potential by creating a pathway out of poverty. Certainly, the challenges remain even after 44 years. Our CISE-supported schools are needed more than ever. Cincinnati's inner city children continue to face significant challenges when it comes to academic preparedness. These children did not choose this path, so we're focused on providing an alternative and sustainable path. And while we're fortunate in Ohio to have the Ed Choice Scholarship Program available to all our students, the reality is these dollars are not enough as the cost of education continues to climb. CISE provides the necessary resources to cover the additional needs of our students, whether that is mental health support, after-school programs, professional developments, our partnership with Mount St. Joe, our retention program for our teachers, whatever's needed to provide a quality education for our students. So why now? Why does CISE feel a need to have a capital campaign? In some cases, our first ever. The reason is the need is greater than ever before. As we serve over 3,000 students this academic year, we expect that number to continue to grow. Also, CISE is in the strongest financial position we've been in our 44 years. However, we're not focused on today. Our dreams are about a better tomorrow. And we want to explore educational alternatives for the long-term success of our students because we know not every one of them is designed to go to college. So for the past year, we spent a lot of time as a staff reviewing, researching, and determining what were the major challenges facing our students. And that work resulted in the identification of 4 pillars of our capital campaign. As Katie mentioned, we want to recruit, develop, and retain the best teachers. Several years ago, through the generosity of a couple donors, we started an endowed fund that provides retention bonuses and performance bonuses for our teachers. Does it make a difference? We had 3 schools this year that retained 95% of their teachers. There is no question that there is a tremendous correlation between great educators and academic success. Secondly, we have an obligation to keep our schools safe. The challenges that exist in our schools today are different than when I attended school or when many of you did. And we have a responsibility to those students to create an environment where they can do their best work. Our third pillar was to expand our high school scholarship program. We know with 550 students attending a Catholic high school this year, their needs are great, and we expect those needs will continue. And then lastly, we want to make further investments in career and technical education. Many of you are aware we brought Mary Thomas on board a couple years ago, who was the principal of St. Ursula, and she's really helped us look at the data in terms of what happens to our students after year 12 and where they might go. So we know there's a need, and we're going to address that need. We've assigned various numbers to these pillars, and we're going to add $5 million for our 2025 campaign, and our objective this year is to raise $35 million. Invest in educators. Many of you heard this story, but the first 100 days that I was on the job, I went to every one of our schools and talked to our principals and teachers, and there was a constant theme: take care of our teachers. We were coming out of COVID. They were burned out. Many times our teachers are doing much more than providing academic instruction in our schools. Our teachers are clearly our most valuable asset. And we know that academic progress is attributable to that tenure of the principal, as you heard from Katie with her 8 years at Holy Family. And we want to keep our teachers. The reality is, though, the teachers are compensated at a much lower level than their public school counterparts. And unfortunately, that gap is widening. We know the teaching profession is shrinking. There aren't as many college graduates going into the profession. And frankly, the demographics in the future do not look good. So we need to take care of these individuals. As I mentioned, we now have an endowment dedicated to this cause with assets of $15 million. Unfortunately, that's not enough. We'd like to grow those assets to $25 million, which will then not be enough, but it will allow us to take care of more teachers. Our goal is to have a retention rate across all of our schools of 90%. Keep our schools safe and secure. It's humbling to stand in front of you and say this when we've all just witnessed what happened in Minneapolis with Annunciation a couple weeks ago. What a remarkable event that we have every year for our schools to bring the entire community together for an opening school mass. And for someone to decide that they were going to inflict harm on that is just absolutely disheartening. And we want it, while we'll never be able to prevent that, we want to have our buildings safe. So we need to have that secure environment. We need to have a single point of entry in our schools, a badge access system, and classroom doors that lock from the inside if that's what's needed. As somebody mentioned earlier, our schools are at least 100 years old. And when the schools were built, the biggest fear was a fire. In the event of a fire, you want numerous exits. But now with the challenges and the risks that our schools face, you don't want numerous entry points. So it is a transition, and certainly we want to keep that, we want to have the resources available to help our schools. We need to expand our high school program. As mentioned, we have more graduates attending high school than ever before. This number will continue to grow. I'm highly confident we'll see that number to go to 600, 700, 800. And our partnership with the local Catholic high schools is invaluable. Some of those leaders are here tonight, and we thank you for working with us and working with our students. In addition to those scholarships, it's important to provide dollars for advocacy services And we don't really know what that means, and frankly, we don't really care what it means, but we want to have the resources available so that if a student arrives hungry one day, that we have food for them. If a student needs help with tutoring or a little bit more work with an instructor, that's available for them. Or simply, it could be a sweatshirt with the name Purcell Marion for Friday night's football game so they feel like they're part of that community. As mentioned, our high school graduation rate is north of 80% for CISE scholars, and that compares very, very favorably with our public school counterparts. And then finally, the fourth pillar of our campaign would be to invest in career and technical education. Certainly, career opportunities are changing rapidly, and there are wonderful, many, many wonderful careers that do not require a college diploma. Certainly, we're all aware of the need for plumbers, electricians, carpenters, but we also need firefighters, police officers, and I'm certain the Archbishop would welcome religious vocations. A college education may be appropriate for many, but if our objective as a group is a pathway out of poverty, then it seems to me there certainly should be numerous pathways available for our students. And in partnership with both our elementary and high schools, we plan to open the eyes of students for many years. So while numbers are important, and as a numbers person, I always like to see numbers grow, the numbers are not important. What's important is that these are investments in the lives of inner city children, 2 of which you've heard from tonight, but over 3,000 of which we impact. We have a story, and this is available on our website as well, of one of our previous students, Aaron, graduate of Prince of Peace Elementary School, Purcell Marion High School, graduate of the University of Toledo, the first in her family to graduate college, and now employed as a government IT manager. Certainly, that was a pathway out of poverty for her. So, as I thought about this group and the list of co-chairs and all the wonderful people that have been involved with CISE, and what I might say tonight, I happened to come across a column this weekend from Peggy Noonan. And Peggy was discussing author, Pulitzer Prize winner, and Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient David Mchugh. And while Mchugh was receiving his acceptance speech after the National Book Foundation had bestowed the highest honor upon him, he said, and I quote, "History shows us how to behave. History teaches. History reinforces what we believe in, what we stand for, and what we ought to be willing to stand up for. Everything we have, all the great institutions, the arts, the schools, the law, etc., exists because those who came before us built them. Certainly, CISE is one of Cincinnati's great institutions with a rich history. Founded in 1982 by Archbishop Bernardin, Ed Harness, the CEO of Procter & Gamble, and Ralph Lazarus, the CEO of Lazarus Department Stores. These 3 men of different faith who shared a common dream of providing a values-based education for inner city children. Boy, do I wish they could see what their dream has blossomed into today. But now it's our time. Now we are the stewards of this dream. We are the stewards of this dream called CISE. We certainly stand on the shoulders of these founders and continue their dream of empowering students and strengthening communities. I can assure you, CISE is prepared and ready to meet this challenge. I hope that we can count on you for your support, and we look forward to meeting with you individually and sharing the campaign in more detail. And thank you for your attendance.